Hey, what's up? This is Marcus with Machine City Audio, and in today's video we're going to take a closer look at 5 free plugins that I feel are good plugins and good alternatives to some paid plugins if you can't afford those. Now, for some reason we tend to stray away from certain plugins that are free. Now, yes, there are some bad free plugins, as well as there being some bad paid plugins as well, and even some bad stock plugins. But I feel like just because they're free doesn't mean that they lack in quality all the time. There are some pretty good free plugins out there. All right, so with that being said, I picked out 5 that I want to go over with you. So the first one is from Acustica Audio, and Acustica Audio is a well-known company. This plugin has just been released and it's free forever. That's what this says on the site. So you can pick this up at any time. All right, so with this plugin, you have the preamp and boost and attenuating. That's pretty much what it is. It sort of reminds me of a pool tech, but you can only boost the low frequencies. So you can boost from 20 hertz to 100 hertz. Now, also keep in mind with this, you may get an increase in volume. So you may want to add a trim plugin after this to control the volume if you're worried about keeping your gain structure and everything. All right, so I have this on the kick and the bass, so let's take a listen to what it's doing to that. All right, so the next free plugin is from KlevGrand. I believe that's how you say that. And this is the FreeAmp plugin, which is kind of a saturation plugin. And this plugin does a little more than just saturate. As soon as you turn it on, you can kind of hear what it's doing, but it seems to add a sense of depth and width. Like, it kind of gives you a 3D imaging. I don't know, it's pretty crazy that this is a free plugin and it does that. So as you can see, you have the basic controls. You have your drive, mix, and then output. Pretty simple plugin, pretty easy to use. So what I did with this, I have it on everything else in the mix except for the kick and the bass. All right, so let's take a listen to what this is doing. All right, so now let's take a listen to what we have so far. All right, let's check it out. So next up we have the RoughRider 2 from AUDIODAMAGE, and this is a pretty good compressor for it being a free compressor. I really like what this compressor adds. It has a certain color and flavor to it that only this compressor has. If we take a look at the controls, you have your ratio, attack, release, you have your gain reduction meter, but this doesn't say how much, so you got to use your ears and play around with it and see how much you want to get. You have the sensitivity knob, and this is going to act like your threshold. You have the makeup gain, and then you have your mix knob. Now another good thing about this plugin too is you can scale the size of it, and there's a lot of paid plugins that don't even have that feature, so pretty cool that they added that on there. If you want a transparent, clean compressor, then this isn't the compressor for you. But if you want something that's going to add a nice color, punch, and fatness to your tracks, then you definitely want to check this plugin out. And like I said, it's free. You got nothing to lose on that. I have this on a drum bus, so we're going to listen to it in context of the mix on the drum bus. Alright, so plugin number 4 is the Tan compressor from Acustica Audio. And I know a lot of people know about this plugin. It's been out for a long time, and I even did a video on it a few years back. But I gotta admit, when I first started doing videos, I didn't really understand compression too much and what it can do. So I appreciate this compressor even more for what you can add and do with it. Alright, so if we take a look at some of the controls of this compressor, you have your gain reduction, your threshold, ratio, attack, release. You have the SH mod, what seems to be the standard for most Acustica Audio compressors, and this is going to allow more transients to pass through the compressor. All right, then you have your gain, makeup gain, and then you have your dry wet knob, and then you have the preamp, which seems to be the standard for most of Acustica Audio stuff as well. All right, so I'm basically just using this to glue together the mix a little more, add a little more punch. So I'm using this on the mix bus as my bus compressor. I know the mix is getting a little muddy, and we're going to clean that up in just a bit. I got a free EQ coming up for the last part, but let's take a listen to what the Tan compressor is doing to the mix bus. Check it out. So we have come to the last plugin in today's video, and that is from IKJB. I've never heard of this company until about a few weeks ago, and that's what made me try this plugin out. I was just doing a search and I saw this plugin and it looked interesting, so I tried it out. So this is an alternative to the Moog EQ4 from Plugin Alliance. And which one is better? I can't answer that because I haven't compared the two, but I feel like this can get the job done. And this also has some features that the Moog EQ doesn't have. So let's take a look at some of those. So we have the keep gain feature. So this is almost like an auto gain. So anytime you boost or cut, then it's going to keep the gain consistent. You have an analog switch. The Moog EQ doesn't have that one. And then you also have a mastering switch. So see how this is continuous and you can do like small increments. When you switch it to mastering, it's just going to do it in steps, like dB steps. So it's going to change it from being continuous to stepped. And the only reason I'm not hitting it now and showing you is because I have my settings dialed in the way I want it, so I don't want to mess that up. And then you have your trim knob, and then you also have like the airband over here. This is like the airband on the Moog EQ4. All right, so let's take a listen to what this is doing. Now that we have everything done, let's take a listen to what all the plugins sound like bypassed and then engaged.